Okay, so tell me. Oh, wait, we're live?
Yes,
oh,
we're live.
Jesus.
Yes, we are. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes. Hello, good evening, good night, good morning, and welcome to our 148 podcast.
148?
Yes, when I keep count.
Wow.
But I know there are more than 148 episodes.
Yes, you always clarify. We're aware.
Yes, we are aware.
Ooh, but we're two podcasts away from a wonderful anniversary. What do you get for 150 years?
I don't know. Everybody should send us presents.
Yeah. I like legal tenders in the United States of America, please.
Yes, please. Tickets to any event, really.
I don't want any of those soap on a rope that you got there since
none of that shit.
1512, okay?
Actually, I guess in celebration of our 150th, we can also give you gifts. I do have some things here.
Yes, we can. And actually, I think in 150 we might be in Paris. So and Roger is definitely giving us a gift, giving everybody a gift with his present.
That's fine. We can give out gifts.
Wow, she sounds just like the parent she is.
You know, she sounds like one of those kids when the parents said, "Okay, no, sweetie, you won't get to keep all this. We got to give some to the neighbors." Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay, I have some. I have something for a very small Nick Curios fan.
Oh,
well, that's me.
Look at this
physically small, Janina. Your boobs would not hang here.
But anyway, before ladies, stop. Let me just introduce who we are. There are people who don't know who we are, and they want to know.
There are.
Go ahead.
People like that.
That's weird.
And it's a lovely weather. And Janina, you're really feeling yourself. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. You need to. You need to do down a couple notches. It's a couple notches, okay? You're at a 12.
Yes, sorry.
We need you at an 8. Yeah, we need you at an 8 right about now, okay? Bring it down a couple notches. Okay. So welcome to 140 Podcasts, yada yada yada. And I am with my two co-hostesses with the mostesses. I am nothing without these ladies. And you ladies survived Women's History Month without any major mishap.
Yes.
I mean, like, I guess we did so much of Black History Month, so like, whew.
Well, the Trumpers decided to ignore the ladies, which is par for the course, though. Whew.
Right.
That is true. So we have Andreen from Sooooo Tennis Travels. How are you, girl?
I am doing well.
Are you home?
I am home in my pajamas, having a good time, ready to chat.
Yes, people, we are recording this at 11 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time, so it's bright and sunny. Janina is having way too much coffee, typically why she's always like, Debbie Downers, because we're usually recording in the afternoon. So when she didn't have no more coffee, it's gonna fuck up her sleep. She's all chipper. But Andreen made the sacrifice and got up early. She was not being lazy, lounging in bed on a Saturday. So awesome for you, Andreen. You get the gold star this week.
Thank you.
And we didn't even start to do anything yet.
I know.
And talking about, gold star, who's up on a bright rocket star today, Janina, how are you, girl? From Park, Ohio.
Good morning.
Woohoo!
She sounds like the weather girl.
Today is partly sunny. It's a little bit windy. You might want to grab a jacket. But it's a beautiful spring day in Ohio.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a beautiful spring day in
You're
NYC.
Not even here.
In NYC, girl, nobody talks about foreign Ohio. Unless it's election.
You haven't been outside yet today.
Moi? Sweetie, I already done the gym, okay? Look.
Oh, okay, fine. I should have known better.
Look.
Listen, these gay boys take going to the gym like going to work.
I mean, they do.
It's true. But
I wish I could have that motivation.
Clients complain. Clients don't want any chubby. They don't want to look. And it's kind of hard getting up on that pole.
You know what?
It's kind of hard getting up on that pole. Look.
Y'all didn't know Reels was a dancer, did you?
We call it stripper, but hey, dancer, just the same.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm your private dancer. And homosexual of the podcast. It's real here. Ladies, we've been away for like 3 weeks, I think it is. We don't miss ourselves when we're away because we talk all the time, but our fans miss us. So, we really have to do better at this.
I mean, we can't do any more better. That's coming up. We're gonna be back to back.
That is true.
The
We
tail
got
of the play.
we got Madrid. You see, this is if Federer had stayed his ass off the clay, y'all wouldn't have seen this until the French Open. So,
True story.
all you Fed haters, just know that Fred is doing it for you people. Okay, like Fred works a miracle for us, and he works a miracle for everybody. Just
Oh,
saying.
it's so funny. Yeah, so we got Madrid, then we got Rome, which is when we do the top 6 for the
Yes,
ladies.
the ladies.
Hey,
We get the Bella Donuts.
ladies.
We talk about the ladies, our top 6 ladies. So for all you people who are trying to be in the closet, being like, well, I don't check out men's. Here is your opportunity to check out the ladies, which is
I mean, be an equal opportunity offender. We check.
I mean, I'm here for it.
you know how we roll, right? You know how we
I know
roll.
you are because I know you saw Franny in the stands.
Oh my God.
That was it.
I love it. She's all like salt and pepper gray and her little cute jeans. And I'm like, look at you, Franny. Call me.
Are you saying Franny is making an effort now, or she's not making an effort?
No, she just looks really good in regular clothes when someone's not trying to put her in a dress.
It's true.
When she's allowed to do her own thing, she typically always looks good. True story. You know? But
whenever she's in a dress, she looks like if she's wearing her mother's clothing.
She looks so incredibly uncomfortable. Except for that photo shoot that she did after she won Roland Garros. Yeah.
Gosh, I forgot that.
That photo shoot was amazing. But you know what? It was very androgynous. Her makeup was in kind of very out there, and so it wasn't traditional by any means, and that's why it worked.
Speaking of
androgynous, that's the only time she's ever looked good in a dress.
Oh, her seatmate was very lovely too.
I don't want to talk about her girlfriend.
Not her girlfriend. She was sitting next to Fabio's wife.
Her sweet mate, Janina.
Oh, yeah. So can we just talk about real quick Flavia's hair? What the fuck did she do? Listen, I didn't even recognize her. She aged like, I understand. I get it. You have a child and you're like, I need to do things that's going to make my life easier. And one of those things is cutting your hair. I did it. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. And I cut my hair really, really, really short. Well, guess what? Short hair is not easier. It's actually more work because you got to get more haircuts.
Yeah.
All the time.
You got to do more to make it look pleasant on your face.
She totally got a mommy cut and it looks horrible.
You mean the mommy cut looking like they cut it with a butter knife? Ooh.
It just looks bad. She aged herself a lot.
Look, I think she's trying to bring herself down several notches so she can be empowered.
Listen,
Fabio.
Her husband is beautiful. She needs to try to look good next to him.
That's not the point. I mean, like just having the trials and tribulation of dealing with Fabio.
50s.
She looks like shit, man. There's no way around it.
But speaking about comebacks, guess who's back?
Who?
Janina, you're slipping up. Svetlana Kuznetsova. She is back.
I know.
And it's her favorite time. It's clay. It's when she could do some damage.
I mean, I still don't trust her.
I mean, no one trusts her. But you mean you trust her more than Petra, which is always.
I don't know. She's been away a long time.
Yeah, but maybe she
looks good.
She'll be right as rain come the hardcourt season because she has to defend that Washington title, right?
Oh,
remember?
Shit, that's right, man. Poor Petra. She's about to, Sveta. She's probably about to slide down. Well, she's probably, I don't know. She's probably playing with a protected ranking right now.
Maybe.
I'm sure she's at like 5,022 or something.
Well, it's good to have her back.
No, she can't be below 750. Remember?
I was just being dramatic, real. Do you have to get all technical on me?
I'm just saying that. I'm just giving you encouragement that she's at least ranked 750.
Well, let's go on. Let's get some results.
Right. So as we speak, Barcelona is going on. Stuttgart is going on, and Istanbul, and I believe Anning, but I don't care about that. In Istanbul, we're just gonna say Marketa Vondrousova. Danielle, your girl, is in the final. She's gonna play Petra Macic. And since Osaka pulled out of the Stuttgart, that means Kontaveit is in the finals all the way. And Petra and Kiki Bertens, the Kiki we don't like, is Kiki B. They are fighting it out in the third set.
Oh, good.
And in Budapest, we got Berrettini. Don't know who this Italian is. and Krajinovic is in the finals of Budapest. They beat Eber, lost. Eber, Eber is like a minute man, but you know what? It's okay. Because what we got to do, he ain't need to be everlasting. He ain't gonna worry about stamina. And right now, Medvedev, one of these Russians, beat Key in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And Pista Rafa Nadal. And meanwhile, did
they literally change the name? They actually did call it after him as he's still around?
Girl, yes.
Oh, I thought, it's so funny. Somebody said they said on Rafa's court, and I just thought they meant it metaphorically, but I completely forgot.
No. I think this is probably the third year, the second or the third year where it's been Pista Rafa Nadal. This is at least the second year. I'm absolutely sure of that.
I mean, I guess if Federer can have an alley, he can have a court, but that's weird.
Isn't the French gonna unveil a statue?
At some point, yeah, they said.
This year?
Was it this year?
Tell me they might have to take that down in the future, but I'm just saying.
Stop it.
Shoot your shot, people. Shoot your shot.
You better.
And right now, Rafa and Dominic team, speaking about Kiki Burton that we like. Oh, Dominic is up a break already.
Up a break.
Who's he playing?
Rafa
Nadal.
Whatever. I don't trust that shit.
Girl, you know.
One of them bastards.
I know.
It'd be really nice if it was Dominic team versus Medvedev in the final.
Yeah, that would be an interesting match to watch.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice for the Spaniards.
Oh my God!
But what was funny is that Medvedev is gonna drive Dominic so insane because Dominic tries to keep his cool and calm and collected on the court, and Medvedev is all over the place. I just want to see that dynamic.
That's my favorite.
I love when Dominic team gets flustered by the crowd when it is so fun to watch. He tries so hard to ignore it, and then he just blows the fuck up, and he looks like a
randomly
brat.
At random places,
weird, odd places. Like, you didn't get mad about that, but now you're pissed about this, and he just looks like a child having a temper tantrum. I love that shit. Love it.
That's my favorite thing about Medvedev, to be honest. He's like my creepy favorite second.
What a title.
I know, because he's just like, he annoys people so much, and I'm not particularly annoyed by him, so I enjoy it.
It's all the Russians. And the thing that bothers me is that Kachanov isn't playing that hand. I'm just like, boo, that is your strength. Play that hand.
Nah, I don't
be out here trying to be cool and Chris Hemsworth.
He's too straight up. I like the way Medvedev goes about his business.
Oh my God.
You know who's another crazy one? Rublev. Oh, Rublev's going to choke somebody on court. I guarantee it.
I hope someone records it.
It's going to be the highest rated match ever.
It better not be my fave.
I don't even care.
It won't be your fave.
It's something about a man who has a comb over who don't need a comb over. That's some crazy shit. That's a psycho.
I can't think of what his face looks like at the moment. I'm so
oh my God. And talk about needing some sun. Rublev and Kyle Edmund need to hang out in a tan and salon.
Kyle Edmund's never going to
stop. You've gone down an entirely different
rabbit hole. Anyway, so as opposed to the results that we so in the past results, my fave, Benoit Paire, won Marrakesh.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did.
Who did he win it against, though? Anyone that mattered?
It doesn't matter. The check still clears.
I want to know who he beat. He's so unreliable. Who was it?
I'll tell you in a second.
You can't attack him for that.
I can't.
I like how Janine is like, we don't usually care about the results, but when I tell you one result, it's just like, oh, you really care. I really care to know who he
I don't care. There's only one.
Beat Pablo Andujar in straight set. 6-2, 6-3.
That's a decent win.
That's a decent win against a clay court player.
For sure.
Exactly. We have a Chilean, so I guess we might have a Marcelo Rios inspire. Darren, don't know much about him, but he won Houston, which I'm so happy wasn't American.
People really like him. I think he was really known in the on the junior circuit. I think he might have actually won a junior title by beating Sasha. If I'm not.
Ooh, I mean, these days who ain't beating Sasha?
We'll talk about that later.
I mean, that's my faves, but I'm just saying.
You gotta come for them too.
So
did you watch any matches in Monte Carlo though?
I did.
For the Fabio match.
Yeah, I didn't. I watched the what was funny, I watched the highlights because I'm not invested in the Rafa matches on clay.
Yeah.
But what was so funny about Fabio when I kind of watched highlights and they have like long highlights is that Fabio was like, motherfucker, I don't give a shit. It was like Fabio just came on there with the time, man. Like,
I watched
usually Rafa usually makes the other opponent work really hard.
Yeah.
Like he goes you into Fabio was just like, no, it's not happening today.
Well,
It was just some lazy looking shot. They won.
He always
that's how Fabio
always looks lazy. That's what kills me.
That is the charm. Well, the interesting thing is that's the thing. First and foremost, like Fabio does not retreat behind the baseline.
He doesn't. He works his way forward.
Just stands up there, takes the ball so well, even earlier, I guess. But like now, I was like watching him, and I was like, wait a minute. Why does it look like Rafa is doing all the work? And Fabio's
exactly.
Like, I'm just gonna walk over here, hit the ball, walk over there. Hit the ball.
Exactly.
Well, and not only that, but you've got to have some confidence when you're coming into that match, knowing that in recent history, you've got some wins under your belt against Rafa. You know
I on Clay too.
Right.
He looked like Fabio looked like he had the time stone and he was just
man. Yeah. I happen to see a lot of
I
saw a lot of Fabio's matches, just his. It seemed like it was like whenever I turned my TV on, it seemed like he was playing. Yeah. He looked good and horrible all week. Like he was so taped up. It was like Radwanska come to him in the night and like put this tape spell on him.
Yeah, because he also looked a little bit. He was gingerly in the Rafa match.
Yeah,
he was like, but that's just
listen. People need to get that match, study that shit because Fabio beat Rafa's ass. And the only reason he didn't bagel him or breadstick him is because he choked.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, because he did so for 6 love.
Yes, he did.
It was going to be 6-2.
Got in his own head like he often does, and he choked. People need to watch that because Fabio plays Rafa like this all the time. He doesn't always come out on the winning end, but he does more than other people on clay recently. You
got the winning song.
Like you guys said, Rafa was doing all the work, and Rafa was looking like, I don't know what to do. Like he had that look on his face, like, what is happening right now?
Why is what I do not working? Well,
yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was like he's looking at his box like it's not working. My game is not working. Fabio's just standing there crushing the ball with easy power. He has such easy power, looking like, here, bitch, go get that one.
Yeah,
and like go down the line. I mean, he was going down the line a lot. Like he just was very assured. I didn't expect. Well, Rafa had been sort of dodgy. Let's be honest, because Pretty Pea should have done that. He should have done that to Rafa because he was in a winning position, for winning position in each set, and just sort of like blanked and just went crazy. But you know what happened is that he started letting Rafa take control.
Right.
He was the one doing all the chasing and the running. I was like, Rafa loves that kind of play.
Yep.
Looping that ball all over and running you ragged from side to side. And then you thinking you're in control, but you're running. That is when I know it is over. And that was it. Like he stepped in so well into the court and was really dictating points. And then midway through, it was like he realized, wait a minute, am I almost up? Am I almost going to bagel Rafa?
Right, exactly.
And then he just got punked out and just kind of fell back a little bit. But
you know what?
Not even Nole can do this.
Honest to God, when I saw Fabio playing like that, I mean, I am a firm believer in Fabio. Honestly, I think he beats anybody when he shows up and he's in it, because he doesn't have to. He doesn't expend a lot of energy in general. So when he shows up to play, he'll kick your ass. He can hang with anybody, and I think he really, 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 gets that boost from having beaten Rafa on clay.
Oh yeah, and knowing you can do it,
and knowing he can do it. And when that match started. I mean, even when Rafa was making his comeback, when Fabio was serving at 5 love, I was like, Rafa's not winning this. He's not, because Fabio didn't have the meltdown that we always see. Even though he lost focus and let Rafa back in at that moment, he didn't have a meltdown. And I was like, Fabio's got this. Even when he had an injury timeout, I'm cracking up. And I'm like, why? And I so appreciated this. he's got an injury timeout. He's getting his foot looked at or whatever. He told the cameraman, "Get away." And made him move. And I was like, you know what? Good for you. Because they're so all up in there. Like, and he was like, just go. And I was like, this dude is such an asshole. And that really is why I love him the best.
Well, there was you can love him. I'm appreciative of the fact that he beat Rafa. That's about it.
That's it for me.
But no, listen. You be useful. If you're gonna be that guy, be useful.
Yeah.
There was also some good matches. Pretty Pay has been doing really well. I think
he has been.
He has, and then also Medvedev. I think Medvedev has like won the most on clay. Is that what I'm seeing?
What?
I know Pretty Pay. No, Pretty Pay won the most on clay. I think he's won. I mean, he's played, but he played all through he played in South America, and now he's playing here. So I'm like, I might I see someone do something on clay this season? Somebody not Rafa Nadal? That would be interesting.
So, oh my God, what?
If they can clear the way for Federer, I'm all for that.
I don't care if Rafa doesn't win Roland Garros and Federer doesn't win Roland Garros. I'm fine with that.
Oh, I don't want Novak to win.
Somebody. Oh, and
I just want somebody. I mean,
I want somebody new. I don't want any of them. Like, if I have to pick one of the three, I'm gonna pick Federer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I'd like a brand new winner. I think
a new winner. Fuck yeah! Like, seriously,
no.
Felix.
I can't even win 6 sets in a row.
How do you say that name? Felix Aluasim?
Felix is getting his ass kicked on clay though.
Yeah, he is
lately. But no, I think it'd be fun. Listen, I'd be happy if any of the next gen emerge.
What I find interesting that these men are trying to play clay with a hardcore coach. No, boo, no.
What you didn't play a hardcore coach? When do we have different coaches for different courts? What are you talking about?
Well, you're gonna need.
Shut up.
No, you're gonna need somebody different because
sometimes they have an advisor.
They get advisors.
Really?
Okay, so let's I think what's been nice thus far on the men's side for clay is that it's not the same story.
Yes.
I think
Amen.
That's all it is. It's just like, but I mean, I fully expect Rafa to work his
and
way.
Federation here to take up,
Federer hasn't been here in 2 years.
No. What I'm saying is that it's usually in the men's side. It's just it's the story has been like one of the two are faltering, another one rise up, or two rising up. No, it's just like one isn't present and two not performing. Just
like Novak is he injured?
Novak was suspect. But you know what? I have to say I'm not that worried about Novak because I feel like
because he's the biggest possum player ever.
Exactly. And I think he's playing the long game. I don't think his game is necessarily fully there, but you know what's great about the slam?
It doesn't have to be.
You have plenty of time.
You got 5 sets.
Novak's game is going to beat most A games, so it doesn't even matter.
and the problem is that, like, for Fabio, people like Fabio, when they do get in that winning position, they don't have to take 2 sets; they have to take 3.
I know
and that is always the problem.
But I think that Novak also recognizes. I mean, listen, he's been around the block a few times. How many times has he had a really nice dominant season, and then it all crashes and burns at the French?
Many times.
I think listen, learn from that. You don't have listen. Remember in the summer, we were wondering if he was going to even like play Wimbledon, and then he won Wimbledon, won the U.S. Open.
Asshole.
And then won Aussie. So I mean
I think he'll be okay if he gets a haircut.
I think he'll be okay because that's just how Novak rolls. But although people are worried about him, I don't know why, but I never do.
I don't worry about Novak.
I think he's made of stone. And do we want to talk about I know you love Fabio, but I think it's okay that we can just see that Fabio won a match and we don't have to
listen. Let's be clear. What I love about Fabio is that he's a villain and he embraces it. He's an asshole and he embraces it. We know that, I like it when they act like dumb little children on court. It's entertaining for me. And you get so much of that from him. That's what I like about Fabio. I mean, he can play great tennis. He can play pretty tennis. He's a great at covering the entire court. You know, he's not a one-dimensional player by any means. He has a pretty game, but that isn't what I like at all.
You like the fact that this is the bitch is going to show up in the telenovela and sleep with your husband and break shit up and being like, what? And she's going to fake a pregnancy.
That's right. And then he's gonna push her down the stairs.
Exactly.
And then he's gonna, right before she dies, say, "But it wasn't true."
Sign over your will. Sign over everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's Fabio. That's what I love about it.
I mean, I don't care for him either way. I think he's fine. But my thing about it is, I find it really strange that when people win, the narrative about who they are has to change.
Oh, it doesn't need to change. He's still an asshole forever.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's okay. It's almost like people have to like blend the two in their minds. Like, if you're winning, you're a good person.
Yeah, not so much.
You know, it's just really strange because I'm like, it's okay. You can win.
Maybe it's a weird.
It's okay.
Maybe it's just the weird matrix in which how tennis works.
Well,
because because remember, this rule only applies to certain people. It doesn't apply for everyone across the board.
I mean, Fabio is a little dark on the color spectrum.
Yeah, but he's still Italian.
I just saw a lot of people trying to sort of like refurbish his image.
Revise.
Don't do it.
Revise his image.
And he owns it. So
you have to. You know what I mean?
Because next week you're gonna fuck that shit all up.
That's right. Next week he'll be out in round 1.
Yeah, and kick something.
And he's gonna say some stupid shit.
To a qualifier. Correct.
And
I will tweet it out for all of you.
I just think it's okay. Like I don't need the rehabilitation. You know, it's kind of like when like when Rafa wins a lot, people are like, he should really win the Sportsman Award this year. I was like, it's okay. He can win and not necessarily be effective.
And he didn't do anything. He just did his job. But we're not giving this for doing your job. This is not how it works.
All right, let's move on.
But anyway, so on to the ladies. So Vika is seeming to get her life together and seeming to be, but she's not finishing the job though. She's not completed a tournament yet.
She'll get there.
I mean, she's struggling.
She had a nice run in Stuttgart. Was it Stuttgart? Yeah, Stuttgart this week.
Yeah, and she retired. She was retired against Kontaveit in the semifinal. So Kontaveit got 2 retirement.
Look at her.
The quarterfinal and semifinal.
She ought to be nice and rested and fresh.
I know.
Watch her lose.
Fresh to drag Petra or whoever else ended up in that final.
Petra's about to win this.
Yep. So there we go. So yeah. So what about Madison Keys over Caro? I'm a little surprised by that.
Are you?
Come from
Why?
Caro.
Do I have to say it again? I'll say it again. Caroline Wozniacki cannot handle big hitters. The end.
But here's the problem, though. You don't need to handle big hitter when it comes to Madison because she's gonna hit herself off the court.
Clearly you do.
I think what we're surprised about is that Maddie held it together and Caro couldn't like ninja her way around.
Exactly. I thought she was gonna
be bad beaten.
I thought she was gonna be Wiley Caro and get some traction in that match. But good.
Hey, guess what though? What? Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam winner. I wanted to put that out there because I tend to forget. So other people must as well.
I think nobody forgot about that, and she won't let you forget about that anyway. You're just lazy. Because this is all she's been waiting for, and her wedding. Has it been over? Is she done? Is it done?
No, I don't know. I don't care. So I know.
I forgot.
I mean, have you ever seen a wedding and you just know that wedding gonna be dry as hell?
Oh, I bet it'll be fun. Stop it.
No. You just gonna see that gonna be so dry. Like you're gonna be there. Oh God.
I needed other people to tell me that Caro was getting married. I saw it all over my timeline, and I guess people only attended to it because Serena was there at the. But I was
it already happened. She did get married.
I mean, her bachelorette party. I think.
Oh, Serena went.
Yeah, they went. She went to that,
and I mean, let me tell you how wild that bachelorette party was. Serena took her child. She knew what was up.
Serious right now? Are you being serious?
Yes, Alexis went there.
No, she didn't.
Olympia was there because she knew that shit was going to be dry as hell.
Okay, fine, you win.
It's harmless. These are harmless ladies. What are they gonna do? A wild night in Vegas? Come on.
I mean, they should.
Caroline Wozniacki, come on.
They'd be like, "Oh my God, let's have whipped cream." So wild.
You are horrible.
So So Maddie might be back. We never know.
We'll
I think
see.
she was dealing with some injury problems
Yeah.
and coach issues, whatever. But Vika is looking well. But again, Vika retired in Stuttgart and she retired in the finals in Monterrey against Muggs. So Muggs won a title.
Good for
I mean,
her.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if we can say good for that because
Muggs
again,
is kind of faded a little bit. Faded into
A little bit, a lot of it.
But you know what? Her season's coming up soon,
This
right?
is typical for her, though. She kind of
wait
does
till she get Venus and then she's back on it. She's just like, oh yes.
I know.
Where is Venus? Have we seen her?
No, I mean, I
Venus was in St. Lucia recently. She was just feeling herself. Like, yeah, man, my mama.
Maybe she's getting rested and she's feeling the healing powers of the ocean waters.
Yeah, y'all ain't know Venus gonna retire this year, right? Yeah, I know that, right?
I don't know.
Listen, we've been retiring Venus for about 4 years. So
I don't know. I have not been retiring Venus for 4 years. Venus is retiring herself this year.
No, I don't think so. She said she wants to play the Olympics, so I don't think it's gonna happen this year.
Not this year, boo.
So stop retiring her. She wants to play the Olympics. She's got one more year.
But anyway, some American girl, Anismova, won in Bogota.
Did you just say some American girl?
I don't know her. I don't know these American ladies.
I mean, you should though. She's a lovely little player, but I don't watch this swing. I generally don't watch this swing that tightly. But it was good to see her
after Miami and before they get to Europe. You mean?
Yeah, that little that little midway space where they have these cute little tournaments and these nice little locations. But I don't attend to them that much. I'm sorry. Work is usually too busy, but I'm really happy to see that Vika has proven us wrong. That
fans, you can't see my face, but you should see I'm giving that wink that my one of my eyes up when Andre's talking about work is busy, so she can't the swing. It's like, okay, girl, just sit better and play. Just sit better and play.
I mean,
I don't get up in the morning for 10.
It was too busy.
Whatever.
I'm giving you that side eye, like, girl.
I'm like you, Janina. I'm like you. Janina be so busy sometimes you can't talk to her.
I don't even want to address that right now.
But what about the ladies thus far on the clay?
Just you know what? It doesn't even matter. Where is Serena? Where is she?
All you care about, isn't it?
She hasn't played tennis in like 2 months. Are we going to do this again?
Well, honestly, you can't really tell much for the women on clay until you really get to Europe. That's when, so in Charleston, Monterrey, and those things are like just to get those are cash grabs in my mind. But when they get to like Stuttgart and then when they get to Madrid and Rome in particular, that's where you see people who are in shape and who are like putting in the work on trying to the finishing pieces are there. So, I mean, there isn't much to say. The men have a better start, I think, on that. Because anyway, it doesn't matter. There's only one man been playing clay, really. So,
well, I think some of the women are continuing good form. Like, I think Petra is continuing the good form.
Yes, she's up 5-0.
Really well. Yep. And then, and I think our number one player on the women's side, Osaka. So she's not really known for clay, but is almost got herself, if she could have made it, past these what is this upper body injury she has? She says she never experienced anything like it since
I thought she said she had experienced something similar.
A boob hurt? Is that what that is?
What is it?
A boob is hurting? It's what upper body? I don't know what that is.
Stop it. Something in her abdominal area. And she couldn't lift her upper body. She was in too much pain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe that was what was affecting her in the match. That's why maybe she went silent and was even deadlier looking than she normally is. Maybe she was in pain. Yeah, that could have been
deadly than she normally. Wow.
I mean, she, everybody, a few people were like, "Oh my God, she went into her Zen mode," which I had to like go, "What? Zen mode? Okay." It's like when you say samurai to,
she's just very deadpan.
I mean, she's
a word for her.
Oh my God, I can't remember.
You know what? I'm tired of doing the impressions, so I'm not gonna say anything.
You don't have to, but oh my God.
Because I know exactly what Real's gonna say.
No, but when you said that, it reminded me of the very first season of what's that show when they would stream people live on TV doing nothing? Remember it was on
Big
CBS.
Brother.
Big Brother. The very first season of Big Brother, there was an Asian guy on there. And at one point in time, they were talking to him and he's like, "I'm just dead inside." And I was like, what? Who goes on TV and says that about themselves? But every time I see Osaka, I'm always like, she's just dead in the eyes. Just dead in the eyes. She's just dead in the eyes. But you know what's so funny? There was a moment in the match yesterday where when she was breaking back and was about to win, and the commentator on Tennis Channel was like, "Oh my God, she made a noise. That's so wonderful to see."
No, they did not. Stop.
Yes, he did. He was like, I can't tell how she's feeling because Rafa had, it was like she was a wall to him. And he was like, he had just seen Rafa celebrate winning the match like he had won the final. And he's like, oh, he's so excited about it. And then he's like, but look here, we can't tell what's going on in this Osaka match.
You see, this is the people like, but one of the things I appreciate about Osaka is the very thing that people talk about, like, you know, this like made up shit, whatever. What I appreciate about Osaka is that she's gonna make a whole bunch of mistakes and she's just like, you know what, fuck it, done, back in the zone. And I know people like, she's really, I don't know if it's intentional, and she's not really Serena. Of course, Serena is an entity. But she's trying to be that how Serena lazily make tons of errors, and then you know what, like, girl, get your shit together. She tries to do that same thing because there are many matches I've watched where it's just like, oh my God, this girl is just like a hot mess, and then all of a sudden she's just like playing tennis wall to wall and remain focused and in this quote unquote in the zone. So I'm really excited to see, you know, what this clay season is going to do because she definitely has the energy. She's won the last two majors. So there's going to be that pressure on her.
She has energy?
Well, I ain't talking about energy at the party, but I'm talking about like when she's playing good tennis, there is a different kind of movement, you know, different type of like, there's a quiet energy, I should say. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when she gets messy, you know, she's not going to be like a Petra on the court. She's not. But you know, she's just as deadly, and that's what counts. It's just getting the ball over the net and not hitting anything, getting in your spot. So
yeah, whatever. Yeah, I can't. I'm so sorry.
But she's not. But you're right. But you are right. She's not going to bring you to the party, right?
I mean, there's no party there. But as long as she wins titles, that's all that matters. Exactly. She's not there for my entertainment, nor yours. But
for sure.
But exactly.
She's not even there for her own entertainment. I mean, she'll be falling asleep on herself. So I'm just saying, these are whole words.
Sometimes in matches, she forgets that she's playing a match. And then
oh my God.
That is true.
You know, sometimes I'm watching and I was like, I think she went on like a mind like bender where she like maybe went somewhere thinking about her favorite show.
Completely different.
You know, I was thinking about something else happening. And it's just
I would love to know what her hobbies are because I just seem to think that sometimes during matches, she's thinking about like let's say she like knitting, like she's just like, oh my God, how do I make that stitch?
Well, actually, you know what? I don't think that's that far off because you know those quirky interviews that they used to detail about her. She thinks about all sorts of strange things in matches, which I'm sure most people do, right? They're like, oh my God, how's that episode going to end? And then she goes down like a whole rabbit hole, thinking probably about Game of Thrones or something. And then through it, she's like, wait a minute, wait. And
this might be.
And if you're saying Donna Vekic, who's serving up 5.
What? You know what I mean?
You still have time to come back in that.
Exactly. Because Donna Vekic is the kind of player gonna be like, look, she's really not gonna let me win this. She's really gonna let me win this match, right? All right, here we go. Let me have 15 more minutes. Just 15 more minutes. This reminds me like when I was in school, and this is way back in the day, and I would have an exam when I was younger. Sometimes I'll be taking the exam and I cannot move forward because I don't remember what underwear I have on and I can't move.
Is this for real? Or are you making this up?
For real. Like I'm like, I cannot do the next problem because I don't know what underwear I'm wearing. And that needs to solve that problem first. So maybe that happens in tennis, women high stress moment. You know going through this motion. Hey, I mean, it's possible.
I'm going to suggest that you stop talking right now.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think watching that, the end of that match was reminiscent of watching Vekic lose to your fave at the Washington Open final. It was a train wreck. I was like, get together, both of them were.
Well, and this is really sad because Donna Vekic is one of those people who plays on confidence, and she really needs, and she's good enough to be, like she's good enough to be doing a lot better and to be seeded and to be, up there in the top 15. But it's matches like these she keep losing from a winning position.
Yeah,
and it's really messy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Girl, don't take the Stanley route, okay? Don't take the Stanley route to success.
No, but it was good. I mean, but you know what? I think it was a good win for Osaka because she's not really known for her clay prowess. And out of that match came the narrative that she has the ability to turn it on and dial and, and come back like Serena-esque, I saw someone say. So,
are we ever going to talk about her without a Serena context ever? I just wonder.
She modeled her game after Serena. I mean, like,
okay. I'm just asking.
Well, no, I mean, listen, I need to decontextualize her out of that, but I can't ever get by.
It's hard, right?
I don't like. I can't. It's been tainted. She's tainted forever.
No. But wait a minute. Serena is in the sport longer than ordinary, right? And so it's allowed for a generation and a half to be playing with her. If Serena was probably playing, was she even born yet? I mean, like somebody, she probably couldn't have even played tennis. And it is fair to say that a lot of times tennis, people follow a sport, particularly tennis, by modeling another person, right? I'm not a player, whatever the case may be. So I'm not talking about, when I contextualize her with Serena, I'm not talking about that infamous US Open situation, but it's something that she has said and her father has said, that they look up to the Williams sisters. And she said, like, I would not be here. I wouldn't be the person.
They're navigating the whole. They're navigating the whole tennis tour using their models, using their coaches, using some of their teammates. So I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think it obviously does, because if you look around and you try to navigate a pretty white space, which is tennis, you would have to look at the people who came before you, who had established ways of.
Right. And Steffi Graf, on the other hand, established a lot of women went into Eastern European women came into the sport because of Steffi Graf.
I think what I'm trying to say is I think the race thing is huge. You're navigating a very white sport, and so you need to figure out who are the people who are capable of working with you, who are capable of like helping you feel comfortable in certain spaces. So it'd be surprising if they weren't following the Serena model. And I'm sure her parents understand that better than most.
Yeah, because I am sure they probably get a very rude awakening, and that's surprising when they turn around, because they see themselves as black, but the tennis world don't really see them as black.
Well,
so they treat them kind of too. I mean, they're gonna those microaggressions gonna come at them in a different way as opposed to
they're friendlier microaggressions. They're just gonna be the quiet.
Exactly, and they're gonna be aware of it too. They're gonna be like, that is not cool.
No, but I mean, yeah, it's fine. But she's the number one player. She looked good, so hopefully she's got her, whatever injuries. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's like Janina said, where are the Williams sisters? What's going on? Are they coming back?
I don't think so. I think no.
And you just say that for me to not retire people, and you're here talking about like
they're not playing, man.
So when does is Serena on the entry list for Madrid?
I hope so.
But isn't she going to be in the Met Gala?
Yeah, the timing is weird. And I just would like to see where Venus is showing up. Venus doesn't, she usually does show up in Rome, though. So hopefully. We'd like to see you ladies on tour.
I mean, according to Patrick, Serena's playing Rome, isn't she? That's what he said a while ago, but...
Well, he said she was playing Fed Cup, too.
Exactly. I was about to say that. Patrick said a lot of things. Whether what Patrick is saying is true is another story. There's a lot of things, but not a lot of truthful things, and both things are true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess in the end, she just had to make herself available for Fed Cup. And I guess Fed Cup happened as well. So Fed Cup happened, and it was kind of exciting, I think. Some of the matches, I paid attention every now and then. People were making a lot of, noise on my timeline. And then every now and then I'd turn on the TV and there'd be a Fed Cup match. So it looks like
Australia versus
what?
France. Yes.
In Australia, right?
Which is funny because the headline on my Tennis Temple app was just like, enemies came together to save France's team, Kiki and Carol.
My God.
I think the only way that Beneteau is going to get a title is if he lets the ladies do it for him. So that's always good too.
Oh. Deb, please check your girl right here. Y'all doing too much out here, okay? Let Beneteau breathe, okay?
Beneteau will never breathe again. But what I like is that that his fame will be only made possible by the wonderful France.
I mean, look, who remembers Brad Gilbert winning a title? Who remembers that? Look,
I hope the Frenchies can take the Aussies. I mean, that'd be real fun.
I think they can take them out. I think they can. I think the doubles draw should be theirs. And really and truly, Gavrilova is not a safe bet in any circumstance.
Neither is Sam Stosur, and they keep putting her in.
Girl.
I mean, they have to have some name recognition.
I mean, they try.
I know.
Ashley Barty said it best. She's like, we've got her in a good position. She should feel no pressure. I was like, have you met Sam?
Right.
I mean, come on. I was like, who did this? Put that girl. What I do not understand is that Sam Stosur was a brilliant doubles player. Like, brilliant.
Yeah, we forget that about her, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's how most of us met her as a doubles player.
And I was just like, she's just trying a thing at singles, right? Girl makes a little cash. And then all of a sudden, she left the singles working for her. She's like,
what a slam, and that was it. But no, poor thing.
Oh my God, I forgot she was a Grand Slam winner also.
I know you blanked on it, didn't you? So did most people.
It's been a while.
You can't take it from her, though. You can't take it from her cold.
It was interesting.
I know. Yes. But I'm looking forward to that matchup. I think that'd be fun. And then I think the Brits, then it's the Brits versus what?
Those are like regulation matches. We ain't got time with these people.
Okay.
Same thing.
I mean, England know they're trying to do whatever they could, for Brexit, for whatever the case. I mean, they have a little joy. Good for y'all.
Listen,
good for y'all.
Conte did it. Conte came back for that team. They were real. Do you know the benefit? Honest to goodness, though, the benefit of having so many British people covering tennis is that they really force you to care about things that you probably normally wouldn't even pay attention to. They're just all up on your timeline.
Maybe that works for you, but for me, it's just annoying as fuck. I'm just like, y'all are doing the most for the least out here. It's not that serious. It really isn't.
But,
the Judy is back for the
No,
Judy
but
did some right.
Listen, Fed Cup was good for the U.S. That team led themselves to glory. Madison Keys.
No, Sloan did the work this time. Sloan is making up for all the shit.
and Sophia Hennon, right? That was really good for her.
Like, look at Sloan. Look at Sloan getting a life together. Doing it for the team.
Remember back in the day, Sloan had the Osaka reputation. What is she doing with her emotions on court?
I came all of that. I was just like, Sloan was like a Stosa. Okay, it's just like, don't put her in.
Leave Sloan alone.
He's not gonna win this match. Let it go.
But listen, Sloan turned it around. She's like, "Listen, I will take you all where I need to take you."
Exactly. She was ready, and I enjoyed that. I was happy for that. I was just like, "You go, girl. Time for you to be like." I mean, girl, you know what would be sexy for your crown? Olympic medal. Anyone. You know what? I know it would be sexy for your crown. I mean, look, get that shit together.
No.
So I think that is all the result. I know Dominic team has the first set over Rafa. And let me see what is happening so far. I think Petra beat Kiki 6-1.
Wow.
And we're still, of course, an hour gone by and we got 3 games going in the second set. So
this match could go for a while. I mean, I hope Rafa's gonna try to take it back, win in the end.
I have to say, I mean, like, he is working harder than he has ever worked on clay. But boo, you're older now.
Getting
You're
old,
not.
yeah.
Listen, if this is how long he had to wait to do that, that's okay.
We'll take it. We will take it. But anyway, moving on to the news. So whenever we're away from tennis, a lot of shit always happen. So I think we got y'all could let me know if I'm wrong. We got like 2 or 3 things to talk about. I mean, I ain't got time for Diva Doll talking about equal rights to male model. I don't have time for that shit. I just gotta tell Rafa fans out here, look, y'all boy ain't smart, and he needs to do the required reading before he have any kind of conversation.
No, I think he's right though. I think he was right. He's like, why are you always on the equal pay tip? Are you worrying about that in other sports? Go talk about other sports.
Well, that is true. At that point, I would say it is true, because I don't know why people in tennis think they can be having this conversation. They're not gonna give the woman less money. It's not gonna happen. You cannot unring that bell. You can't.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they can unring the bell, but I do think that there is a kind of damage the way that the whole notion of equal pay is covered. First and foremost, you can't compare different tournaments and different tournament stature and say, well, the women are getting paid this and the men are getting paid that. And it's like, it makes it seem like there's this one guy controlling the pool of money.
And that's not the case at all.
And it's not. And oftentimes it has a lot to do with other things besides just like this visual that you want to create. It has to do with who's the sponsor, has to do with what the ranking points are and how much people are getting paid. It drives me nuts that, like, I feel like there's like a disservice that's been done to equal pay conversations, where it's like they get the guys to go on record about what they like or don't like, and then it's like, Rafa is responsible for equal pay, and I'm like, what? Nobody's responsible. Like, that's how, like, or he hates it. And I'm like, what is that story? Like, why aren't you interviewing the tournament director? Why aren't you interviewing
the respective leaders of the tour?
But that's what I mean. Like, why don't you sit down and talk to the tournament director? Interview the tournament director. Interview the person who runs the WTA right now, our favorite dude, and then and ask him about the finer points of that, and let those be the talking points. I don't care if Rafa likes equal pay or not. I don't really care. Like,
he ain't signing no check.
I mean, that's what I don't, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes getting people on the record, I'm like, I don't know. I've really hated the whole, let's get this on the record, because it's kind of like gotcha journalism for me. And I don't know what the point of it is. Like, I'm like,
they bring people and you're not advancing the argument one way or the other.
No,
you're not
all you do is
new information, nothing.
Yeah, you villainize a particular player when you know these are institutional issues. So talk to the institutional leaders, talk to the people, talk to the person who is negotiating these contracts for WTA. They're separate tours. They are negotiating specific things for each tour. Like, I don't understand that. Like, and it's the same thing that happened.
And the ITF event at the Grand Slam is a single event.
Yeah, and that's where that's
where the organizing body is in charge of those events.
And that's where the parity exists in terms of how people are paid. That's where the parity exists. But the other ones are totally different. And listen, I understand. We know that women do get paid less, but I feel like it's a disservice to the argument if you don't lay out why they're getting paid less, how
all of the facts, exactly,
and who is responsible for having the conversations about it. I don't really care what the top 20 guys think about equal pay. Like, are they personally going into these negotiations and saying things I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to do with that besides just get really mad at somebody who's supposed to be my favorite but doesn't support equal pay? I don't get it. So I was like fine with Rafa saying, get off my tit about that. I really
and male models' lives matter too.
I mean, but you know what? Listen, say what you will, but it's a marketplace, right? And he understands female models make more money than male models because the marketplace can hold it. It doesn't make sense for us to talk about it like that. That's always been their language. It's like the marketplace can hold men getting paid more than women because people just care about men's tennis more. I don't know if that's really true, but I'm fine with the players saying,
girl, to set up that reality as you wanted for this discussion, you have to set this up for all discussion. You're not having that type of discussion on any topic related to tennis. It's just how they perform journalism in tennis. That's why I don't even think there are any real tennis journalists.
Well,
They do this it is frustrating. It's true. I mean, like, let's be honest.
Helpful. It's not helpful. It just gets people really riled up, and it
gets tennis traffic though.
Yeah, but it focuses on the wrong thing. Like I don't know.
But I'm mad at the people. And you know what I'm also mad at is people, the public. We're not demanding more. We're not demanding better. As soon as somebody tried to say, you know, like, this is not a helpful narrative, this doesn't mean anything, people lose their goddamn shit. You know what I mean? Because they want to be right in their indignation and they're right in their outrage. But your outrage means nothing. Because like, you know what?
I want a premier mandatory tournament, which is, I guess, the comparable level for a Masters tournament, right? That's what it is.
Right.
That's what it would be. Like if you took a premier mandatory women's tournament. Like Madrid. And I want you to talk through what is happening there in Madrid. And ask them to rationalize why they pay the women less and why they pay the men more. How do they break that down? Because when you talk to the men about it, they are convinced that their revenue generation is more. And that is where they land on. But you can't argue about it. You can talk about it. People just like, nobody says anything. And I was like, I'd like to be able to see that breakdown rather than you going, hey, I'm going to trigger you all by telling you that women aren't getting paid the same as the men. Okay, we get that, know that, because we understand the percentage.
The solution to this problem is to stop the men from playing best of 5 set at the majors. Shut the fuck up and
like have a seat with that bullshit. I was like, woo!
Y'all are stupid. Y'all are really, really stupid.
So it's just a dumb argument. I can't. And so I'm fine, Rafa. Like I said before, Rafa, keep that quote going, boo. Tell them you don't care.
And I got things to say about these things, but I'm not telling you.
I'm not telling you.
I don't want to tell you.
It's gonna be in my book later.
I don't want to tell you. I mean, can I get a clip of that? Rafa saying, I don't want to tell you.
So explain the context of that.
He was being asked about was it Justin Gimelstob?
Justin Gimelstob, yeah.
Yes. And he was like, you know, I got some feelings on that. Of course, I'm human. I have feelings. I feel things. But guess what? You won't be hearing any of my feelings. Nope. But to tell you, no.
So where are we with the Justin story now? So where are we now? Where have we landed with it?
Well,
catch us up.
Let's just say it's another sunny day and it's another day to be wonderful and white in America and a man. Just the way it is. Because, I mean, I just gotta hand it to. This is
what's the background? Where are we now?
No. Let's in terms of the background. So where are we now? We're at a point where he pled no contest.
Yep.
After months of claiming, I didn't do this, I got tape, I got witnesses, I got information.
Well, say what the charges were.
Felony assault. I mean,
felony. That's the important word there.
Felony, I mean, like, basically. So after all of this, basically, he ended on no contest, which means that he gets to say he doesn't get to acknowledge his actual part in the situation, but he doesn't get to deny it. He cannot deny it. That by the no contest, basically saying you are not contesting the allegations against you, but you're just wishing not to go forward a trial to have this litigated and have a jury hand down a sentence to you or a judge has down a sentence. And in lieu of this, he is also liable for days in jail, but the judge felt that, no, he would be much more served if he had anger management and community service. Motherfucker jumped him on Halloween while he was with his kid and wife. Like, literally fuck this man up. And I'm not exaggerating on that point. I mean, like, reading that witness impact statement, I was like, the fuck is going on? Because this was unprovoked. And the judge said this. You cannot deny that this was unprovoked. To say anything
just more
other than this was unprovoked would be lying and childish.
I think we just need to establish, though, that what the legal charges were, and in the end, what the legal results were, because there's lots of perceptions around it. But in terms of the ATP making a decision about Justin's relationship with their organization. They said at the very outset that they were going to wait until the legal part of this took place, not the court of public opinion. They wanted to find out what the court decided. So the court decided that he, in fact, was responsible.
Yes, he's without any shadow of a doubt. He is fully responsible for this. And if he continues to say that, the judge actually said, if you continue to be out here saying that you're not responsible and this didn't happen, I would haul your ass back in here and send you to jail. So he hasn't really said much along those lines, but his cheerleaders are out here doing the most. My God, I'm telling you.
She had a question. Janiana, what was your question?
I mean, I wonder. Listen, what happened was unacceptable no matter what, but I keep hearing over and over from all walks of life, this happened in front of a child. This happened in front of a family. I mean, I just wonder if people would think that it was less bad if it didn't happen in front of a child.
No,
because we really are focusing on that. It always comes up in this conversation. No one is talking about it without saying this happened in front of people, especially a child. No one talks about it. And no, it's not okay. And yes, children live what they learn. I get all that. That's not my point. I just wonder if it just was something that happened in front of no one, but he was still charged the same and everything. Would people have the same reaction? Are people having a more negative reaction?
I think you're right. I think the nature of the attack, the fact that it was unprovoked. Listen, if a man got into, if Justin and this dude got into a fight, I think the characterization of it would be very different.
Would be different. Like the likelihood of him picking a fight with Justin with a child in his care, in his immediate care, is very unlikely. And that's why I think people mention it. And also that Justin didn't show any sort of
right. I don't listen. That's not what I'm saying, though. I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with that. I'm asking if it didn't happen that way, are people more likely to give him more of a pass than he's getting now?
I think
I wouldn't have, but I'm sure people would have made they would have characterized it as being that the guy may have provoked him.
No, it has nothing to do with whether. I mean, part of it would be the assumption that it's two adults going at it around a second issue.
Right.
It would have been a fight. It would have just been a fight. I think what makes this situation very different is that this man was going about his business with his family, and Justin saw this moment as a moment to attack this person. Like, listen, he obviously had a historical battle with this guy. They've been going back and forth, right? In his mind, because the guy says, I don't really know this kid, but but in Justin's mind, he's a villain, right? And so if, for example, he had confronted him at that restaurant, like that first occasion in which the guy outlined in which they met, and a fight had ensued in that scenario, I think it would be very different. But the idea that you lay in wait for this person,
you ambush it,
doing something with his family, the child is there, he's got to be holding his child's hand because they're going trick-or-treating, and then you saw this as an opportune moment to bum rush the guy and beat him while his wife and child watched. That creates a whole different scenario, right? Because it's not just mano a mano, it's like you're a crazy person.
You're a psychopath. Exactly. That you are on some other level.
And also the guy says it too, because the guy said he went back to trick-or-treating as if nothing had happened.
Oh my God.
like the guy literally characterized it like that.
You know what? This is something else that I wonder. And this is totally out of left field, but I'm going to say it anyways. People that behave in this way, especially when it's an athlete, it makes me wonder, what kind of drugs did you do during your time? Because that fucks with you. And we know that. And we know that performance-enhancing drugs do horrible things to your mental stability and levels of aggression. I just wonder.
We don't even have to claim any of those things because the actual act itself is egregious. I think the thing that's noteworthy is that I think the whole Justin's whole entire behavior around it just speaks to so much about his character.
Yep.
There's never been listen, you make a mistake in public, you admit you're wrong. You say you're wrong. you acknowledge it. There's never been an attempt to apologize to this man and his wife and his child.
And that tells me that his brain function is off.
Listen, no, I'm not giving him that excuse.
Nope.
I don't think it's an excuse.
I'm gonna say that this is a privileged man who feels like it is he has the capacity to do what he wants, even if it is wrong. Because remember, that's what the man says in the victim statement. The man said he attacked him in front of his lawyer, not the man's lawyer, Justin's lawyer. And Justin's like, that's my lawyer. She's the most powerful lawyer. She can get me out of anything.
If anyone has ever spent any time around Justin Gimelstob, you know that he walks around with this air of cocky.
Yeah.
He's an asshole. I mean, he's one of those people that you look at and you think that guy's an asshole, even if you don't know who he is. And then if you do know who he is and you see how he interacts with people, it just reinforces the fact that you think he's an asshole. He's very arrogant. You know, you weren't really somebody that I would ever consider a superstar. And I have seen, I have been a casual watcher of fans that have gone up to him to ask for a photograph or an autograph, and he'll do it, but he's not very gracious about it. And I'm just like, you ought to be glad that people even recognize your sorry ass. And this was years ago, but that's not who he is. I mean,
where his power lies. His power doesn't lie in whether you like him as a fan. If that was the case, he would be off all the time. I think this is what's interesting to me about Justin, is that Justin is a part of a very strong power base where he feels even after the latest judgment by the courts, he was given this puff piece in the New York Times, which some people erroneously think that Ben wrote, but he didn't write it. It was written by somebody else. This puff piece where basically he declares that he is such a powerful person and he has so many connections that even though he has done this thing that is egregious, he still has power and he still has the capacity to wield
people do that all the time. And, you know, it's not okay, but people think like, I've got connections, so therefore I can get away with this. I mean, you see it in levels of professional athletes who take advantage of their stature in society, but you see it in everyday life, you know, as well. I mean, I know people who have certain professions and they think, well,
Janina,
because of who I am, what my job title is, I can get away with certain things. There's this perception that police officers and nurses work closely together, because a lot of times they do when you work in an emergency room per se, or something like that. Or if you are dating an officer, you know, you get that you'll get a special privilege if you get caught breaking the law. And it works for a lot of people because they think that they are privileged in this way. But little things like that, I mean.
But what's your point? What does it mean for you in this situation?
People truly believe that they are exceptional. But they really do have a right. I'm not saying that it's true, but it does work.
Though. This is what I think is so interesting. And this is why I have to say I have not gotten in a lot of kerfuffle about it. There's been like a petition that's been rotating around trying to, I guess, get him removed from Tennis Channel or all this kind of stuff. And there's a part of me that just finds the whole thing instructive more than emotionally triggering or any of those kinds of things. Like, I think there's a part of me that really sees this as revealing so much about tennis and about its power base and about its power structure that I don't want to say I like watching it unfold, but I think it's so informative.
Well, it's interesting.
Well, it's informative. It's informative.
Yeah, you see where people stand. You get to see what people believe, where they think they sit in a power ranking situation. Like, this doesn't apply to me in this way because, listen, let's keep it real. It's what we do here. If this was an everyday Joe on the street and this man, a black man, goes up to some family and his child and beats the shit out of the dad, and gets charged with a felony assault charge, they're not going to get a plea bargain.
Throw him away, lock him up.
Yes, he may get a plea bargain. He may get a plea bargain because I'm not going to have somebody coming at me telling me that they're not going to get a plea bargain. You know what? Yeah, he will, but it's going to include jail time.
He's going to have time. He's going to have jail
time. It's going to include jail time. It's going to include probation. It's not going to be community service. It is not.
And anger management courses.
And you know what? I'm going to take it a step further.
Anger management courses are racialized. I can't believe people are telling Black people to go take an anger management course. I just don't see it.
You know what? I'll tell you something about anger management courses. They're bullshit. I used to work in an office that provided them for the community in their bullshit. You don't come to anger management class once a week and talk about nothing and let that rehabilitate you. It doesn't work that way. Because you're not going to, first of all, be honest.
Come on, we know that's a slap in the wrist.
But here's the thing. We don't even need to go into the real world. We can stick right here in tennis. And just randomly touch on several different incidents where someone didn't even touch someone. Someone just said something someone didn't like, and how the calls for them to be removed from tennis altogether, asking them to get a ATP told Nick Kyrgios.
I know.
Psychological evaluation before he comes back on tour. They sent him a letter telling him this. David Law just had an interview with Janko Tipsarevic, and he said, point blank period, I believe Nick Kyrgios has mental issues.
Yes, he did.
So easily.
Tell me, if Stephen A. Smith attacks somebody, does he still have a job?
Look, girl, you don't even have to touch the person. Stephen A. Look, we had Jamel Hill, right?
Well, right.
She called the president when he is, and she got suspended.
But the thing is, no, listen. I think what I'm trying to say is, listen, we get that it's unfair for Black and brown people. We know that. But I think for me, the most interesting thing about this moment is that Justin is perceived as powerful by so many people, and nobody is asking what is the base of his power
and why.
Nobody has deconstructed that for me. I've seen all the reports, and everybody wants me to react morally. Like everyone wants to stir me up and sort of moral outrage.
Well, the base of his power is he's an ex-professional athlete and he's a white man.
No,
that's the point.
No, that's not the base of his power. The base of his power is, first and foremost, if you look at his family and the fact that his brother got charges dismissed, and the fact
that the brother did the same thing. The brother killed someone and left the scene. The brother killed a police officer. He was being stopped for speeding, and he felt like he didn't want to speed. He should not have been stopped, and he ran over the man and left the scene.
And you don't think this has to do with being a white male in America?
No, it's not just being a white male.
What is it?
What I'm talking about is power. Listen, remember, the other judge in Justin's case had to recuse herself because Justin knew her. This is not just one white dude. What I'm trying to say is this person has a web of relationships I want to see a diagram and a chart of all of the connections. That's why Justin has power. This is why the players are looking to the other side. And this is the thing that I'm annoyed by, because that's not being covered. Justin has power and connections to people who make decisions. That is why Martina is silent. That is why everyone else is silent. Nobody's doing that deconstruction. I don't have time because I have another job, but somebody for whom this is their full-time job
should have been doing this. I've been writing about it.
Deconstructing the base of Justin's power.
No one be John Wertheim, though.
No, but I'm just like, everyone's sitting around going, I want you to be morally outraged. I don't really care. The moral outrage thing is annoying because it's obviously not equal, because if this was Nick Kyrgios, y'all would be stringing him up. So I don't really care about the moral outrage. What I'm trying to understand, though, is what is the base of Justin's power?
But where is it a familial tie? Has he had these ties from he was young, or did this stem from him?
His attitude belies that, though.
He's very well connected.
This privilege is not just from tennis.
My question is, did this come from his ability to reach places because he was a professional athlete?
But you know what? But he wasn't.
Or no?
No, listen.
Because that matters.
Listen, what matters is Justin's family is very wealthy and very well connected. So even though he was a subpar tennis player, he's still been able to navigate and negotiate in that space and develop a base of power, which is why they could softball him a New York Times piece, as well as Justin letting you know that even while he was entrenched in a court case, players turned to him for advice, and he was able to succeed in getting someone kicked out of tennis in terms of Chris Kermode, which, by the way, is the only reason why the British care. The British don't give a crap about ethics and morals or any of those things. Listen, I can't. They're just mad about the fact that it's a power move, that Chris Kermode, who was connected to Queens, which many people actually didn't even like when he transitioned. I remember that period, and that was not great at the time. And so now the ousting of Chris Kermode is really the only reason why the Brits are taking a hard line on this. They wouldn't. I honestly, cynically don't believe they would care. And the moral outrage is, I'm giving it a side eye. But okay, whatever reason you care, fine. But I think what we all have to understand, though, is it was interesting to me that a judge had to recuse herself because she said she knew Justin. How many of us know judges?
Well, I was actually, wait a minute.
This judge, in her own statement, I was like, on his statement, you read that victim impact statement. You know this motherfucker is going on claiming that he didn't do it. And you think it would be best served that he should get anger management.
Exactly. I mean, just classes. It's just a classist like assignment. Like,
but I want to put something out there, because I don't sit in a place of any privilege in society where I live or anything. I actually know several judges. That's why I was asking the questions that I'm asking. Where do these connections come from? Because I personally know several. The connections for me come from different places. Some are from work, some are from.
But what I'm saying is, you have does your connection to these judges that will they facilitate, if a family member of yours did a crime that was egregious, will your connection to those judges allow you to negotiate better for your family member or no? Is it that kind of connection? Because that's what happened with his family.
Yeah, for sure.
So what I'm asking you is, if you can understand what that means, why are people looking at Justin from a moral outrage angle? Why aren't they looking at the fact that tennis is a web of relationships?
Exactly.
And that you need to be unpacking the web of relationship. All I'm seeing is the villainization or the villainizing of one person, which is fine. He's a great villain.
And maybe this is why you're getting mad, Janina.
I'm not getting mad. I'm getting a little annoyed that I keep getting cut off. That is clear, I think. But I'm
cut off from what? I asked you what your relationship was. Just because you say you know judges. And
I was trying to say it. No, I'm just saying, I just want to ask another question. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't disagree with any of it, but I don't think that it's smart to pretend that people in the everyday world don't have some of them connections. So we have to dig what you're saying. Yeah, look into the web, look into all of that, but it probably goes even deeper than that. That's what I'm asking. Because
that's what I'm saying, Janina. That's the question. The question is, these players, and this is why I'm like annoyed, because these players are telling you that Justin is powerful. And all people are saying is, he shouldn't be powerful, and you should be able to say.
But they're not saying why or how he became powerful.
Yeah, and they're not talking about why the players think that Justin have their back. Like, you cannot just because you're morally outraged by Justin's actions, and you want him to be gone so that you can pretend that tennis is a clean sport again. You need to look at why players trust him and what that's about. And instead of getting up and telling players, you need to hate Justin today, when this person has been working behind the scenes in their minds for them against very powerful interests, which are tournaments, they're not mom and pop shops. It's just like, to me, it's really simple, and it's really, it just denies the fact that these are systemic structures in which Justin is a strong participant. And the fact that you think that if you pluck out Justin, that somehow cleans things up and Justin shouldn't be the face of the sport, like, whatever. I don't care about that.
You know what another problem might be? Maybe, I don't know, but it could be when people benefit from other people's connections, they don't always know how that happens, and nor do they care. They just know that it does, right?
Exactly.
And how many times here have we talked about athletes not always being the brightest stars in the sky? Lots of them aren't geniuses. I mean, they are athletes, and that's not to knock anybody, but this is their job. This is what they're good at. It doesn't make them an Einstein. And all you know sometimes is that something's working for you, but you don't know why. So given that context, do people, even without being told specifically by someone like an Andreen that maybe you want to look into this a little bit better, do they even think to do that?
No. I'm gonna say, hold on. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say what. Go back when I mentioned that you were mad. I said what I was going to say, that one of the reasons I think you're probably mad about them mentioning the baby, him being with his child so often, is that seemed to be distracting, because it's in a distracting element. And Andrew is right, and everybody should have been seeing this come, because
distracting. What do you mean, like taking away from what he did to this man?
Yes, they're just using the baby as a moral, as a key to access the moral outrage. Like, he did this in front of a child, but they're not looking at, because here's the thing: if tennis is unable to cover this angle, a straight up black and white case, right? They are not able to cover any kind of angle.
They're not able to cover real.
We already know this.
But you see, but that needs to be, because here's the thing. With other issues, people want connecting those dots. They want acting. Because we would talk about how tennis has failed to cover something and ask the appropriate question. Because here's the thing, and players are going to be very silly. I know you're going to say that they're athletes and whatever the case may be. They know the shit with Justin. The fact that nobody is saying something, that is the problem. Martina gave a really fucked up statement. A fucked up statement. John Wortham gave a real fucked up statement. Those kind of statements are coming from trying to make the best of a bad situation work better. It's a really ambiguous. Even they know what you're right, Andreen. It goes back to there is an issue here that they are overlooking.
Are they overlooking something, or are they protecting?
And what is it? Because here's
I think they're protecting themselves.
Want to hold on to Justin. They're not dropping him at all. Justin should have been dropped ages ago.
He should have been dropped immediately, or at the very least put on some type of suspension.
Why do you think? And then why do you think? This is the thing, right? Because it should not even be. But we understand, though. We understand. Listen, we know that when you do something wrong, if you know the boss, you're not going to get fired. And if you know the boss's boss, you're definitely not going to get fired. So the question people need to ask themselves, instead of going, oh my God, how can tennis let Justin be here? Ask that question.
Right.
Who is Justin connected to? What do people perceive as his value here? Because realistically, for example, Pospisil had it's so funny. Pospisil had an accurate reaction, or not accurate, an honest reaction to Justin at the start of the week. He said, regardless of what happened, essentially, he said, regardless of what happened in terms of the outcome of the case, the players would be really fortunate to have Justin on their side. That is somebody letting you know that Justin has a powerful place in that space. Mm-hmm. What did people do? They attacked him. Instead of asking why, they thought, Pospisil is not doing the right thing by having the right feeling. You should think of Justin as a villain. What if he's not a villain in the thing that matters to you the most, which is job security, job salaries, having someone who you think is powerful enough to go up against tournaments, which is how people perceive Justin. So,
but not only that,
and also Justin is a pathological liar, so you know he's already spun that story.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No. In terms of, so that is changing. That is also adding to their favorable view of him. He's already put out a press junket marketing.
Listen, it's like Janina asked. They don't care that Justin got in a fight. Justin got in a fight is proof of what they know about Justin, which is that he is a powerful person who can go to bat for them.
And what about this, guys? What about, when you see, you find out your neighbor killed somebody and you know them and you go, gosh, I never would have thought they would do that. So you knew them in a completely different capacity. But no, if you listen, people do things that you know personally and you're like, I can't believe they would do that. It doesn't happen every day, but well, you watch way too much murder porn. So you don't get to be a part of that. It happens all the time. And you're like,
can I give you guys a little bit of tennis news right now? Dominic Thiem is serving for the match and is down love 30.
Of course he is.
I'm just letting you know. So let me just let you know, Dominic Thiem is no Justin Gimelstob. But anyway,
but you know, like how often do we see that though? You go, God, I never would have imagined that person, because you know them differently. You know them. It doesn't have to be something bad. It could be anything, but it just, you wouldn't expect them to behave in a certain way, good or bad, because you know them. And we have to keep that in mind, because I doubt. I mean,
right?
They do. Exactly.
And you see one side. This is why I think it's really annoying when people are like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Come on, you know people who are assholes, but don't show you their assholeness, or they show you it in a way that works in your benefit, so you don't think of that. You don't think of them as an asshole,
right?"
For me, it's like we're covering Justin like it's a soap opera, as opposed to covering Justin like he's a power player. But not even that, but like he's a power player in an organization that is struggling to find its power and its range right now. People are not covering. You should be covering this like it's a business issue, but they're covering it like it's some sort of gossip column.
They're not covering it at all. It's just a Twitter outrage, really.
Twitter outrage. The policies and procedure handbooks for the tennis channel. I mean, I just, started a new position, and if I represent my company in any negative way, there are repercussions for that, right? And it doesn't matter if it happens outside of work. I mean, that's pretty standard. That's pretty.
Who owns Tennis Channel? Remember who owns? No. Remember Sinclair?
Yeah,
What has Sinclair been doing to other stations? It has been telling it to do
exactly what.
And also, let us not forget, one of the things that I've noticed in a reaction to this thing is that, in our general trend, is that people are going to hold on to problematic people just to say, fuck over the liberal and their PC culture. But they're going to hold on to problematic people just to have that. I mean, they've elected someone for that same reason.
But I mean, what I'm saying is there's a culture that Sinclair News, or Sinclair at least, supports in the way that it's cycling through news. The assumption that Justin is objectionable is probably not necessarily accurate. It may be objectionable for us, but in terms of how they conduct themselves, I don't see that far. Right. I mean, the station that gave reporters things they wanted to say that was pro-Trumpian.
Yep, and also non-disclosure, and also no compete clause that you can't go anywhere else.
Exactly. So I'm not saying, you know what I mean? His behavior is not that far off from his actual employer. So
for sure, but who wants, to? I mean, hell, most people can't even get a job if they have a felony charge. But you're protecting yours.
But here, let us not underscore. Andreen mentioned something, and it went under the radar. It must be noted, and it goes back to something you said, Janina.
Team has match point.
He was down triple break point.
Love 40?
Yes.
Wow. Feeling himself.
But Justin is this kind of attitude is beyond just tennis.
Yeah.
And it's
everywhere.
No. It's beyond his world in tennis.
Yeah.
Because his brother killed a police officer.
I know. That's major.
And he's outside walking. I mean, that is like, the only other thing for you to do in America is kill a president and kill a police officer. You can walk away from that.
And Dominic Thiem is your winner. Rafa Nadal does not get his 12th Barcelona title.
Good for him on Rafa's court. Good for him.
Oh,
but you know what's noteworthy about this, guys? I think what's interesting, and this is the thing for me that's also intriguing, is where do you have the pushback against Justin? Because that's noteworthy too. The people who feel most comfortable pushing back from Justin are not places where his base of power lies.
Right.
So it's the Aussies they feel fine going on record against him. The Brits even, right? Even Wimbledon felt pretty comfortable saying, hey, he won't be invited at Wimbledon. That tells you that he has a nebulous relationship with power there, right? But the other spaces who are saying nothing.
Silent.
So the question is, what is the nature of his the power dynamics there? Listen, we have to remember the Janko Tipsarevic interview, right? We should address that.
But I just find it funny that tennis literally
revealed so much. One of the things that he said about the players is the players don't think of themselves in a powerful way. They really don't. And I think the way we're covering this issue also reveals that we're not thinking about tennis as power bases at all. We're thinking about Justin as a singular individual, not as Justin as part of a web, a part of a web of support. With all of the all of these people ran for these positions as representatives. Those are powerful positions, right? But they took it upon themselves to run for those positions and secured that power base in the ATP Council. Nobody else did that. So now everybody's like, oh my God, why is Justin there? Listen, Justin's been there for years, building up relationships, building up connections, doing the dirty labor that you all don't think is sexy, but is totally off your radar. And so now everybody's like outraged, like, why is he still there? How is he there? You know that guy in the office who does all the extra work, who goes and meets the boss, who goes
build up indispensability.
You know what I mean?
You can't get rid of me, sir, because you don't know how this works.
You don't know how it works. And what is the one thing that we also have a guest on all the time? And he tells us that. What's the one thing our favorite tennis player who comes on from the ATP Council tells us? Nobody has time to learn about this. Mm-hmm. Justin has spent the time learning about all of these pieces that go into this negotiation. So I just think it's really important for people to not push off on players who are not immediately willing to throw Justin out. Nobody does this labor. Nobody has the time or the interest in doing it. And he took the time and has done that. And the people think of him as an ally. So they're not going to throw him to the wolves. I don't care. I mean, I know it sounds weird and strange to take that position, but these are players who spend most of their time playing tennis.
Right.
For somebody who has done the labor in their minds to
they don't even look for the reading list much as to even do the required.
Well, they don't even know what he's doing behind the scenes. They just see the result. And that's what we have to remember. So you can, so for Rafa to say, I don't want to tell you, we don't really know what that means other than, it gives us a soundbite and something to bitch about Rafa at. We have no idea what he tells these players as far as this is what I've done for you.
Yeah, and what the players understand about what he's done, because remember,
they don't
not
know.
all the players understand the workings of it.
Or do they care?
Yeah, really, because we all show up just for the check. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that we have to have a little bit of compassion for the players instead of trying to get them to go on the record about hating Justin this week because you suddenly decided you need to hate him, even though he's been contemptible for years.
I'm fine with people asking about what they think about it. I'm fine with people saying that they don't want to know, because I've brought this up before. I'll bring it up again. We've all talked about it. Tennis people think that they're friends with players and they're going to spill the tea. But in all reality, journalism people, you should never, as an athlete, you should never view them as your friend. They're going to take your words and do what they want with them. So in some regard, Rafa's quite smart to say, I don't want to tell you, because he may give you a very long, detailed explanation that tells you all the nuances of his relationships with Gimelstob or whoever. But if he did, you really think that somebody's going to put all that out there? No.
And you'd use it against him, because basically
absolutely
what you want right now is you want pro and con. You want pros and cons for Justin. You don't want anything else. And you know what? That's why I'm saying the coverage of it is bullshit. Stop doing pro and con Justin and ask about the power here. And why would they want to give up somebody who has given them power? Why would they want to do that? That's what I don't understand. Like, the players think that Justin can get them more money against tournaments. That's all they care about. They don't care about the optics, because if they cared about the optics, they would have gotten rid of Justin when he did all the negative things
a long time
First of
ago.
all, they wouldn't even picked him. He wouldn't have even been
Exactly.
picked.
But I mean, you're also stuck because now for the first time, you actually have a bunch of people who are saying they're going to run against Justin, which I think is actually great because you know what? Finally, you all should have been turning your attention to these positions and paying attention all along. You should have been doing that, you know. But the other thing is, those positions also tend to attract a certain type of person, right?
Power hungry
A
people.
power hungry person.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something I've learned in the business world. That there are a bunch of mostly men who would look for the easiest load to lift and figure out where they can get the most power.
Mhm.
It might not look like the big, sexy, powerful job like a Senate or
Yep.
like a congressman or like the president or CEO of a major Fortune 500 company.
Good
But
point.
there are a lot of other sectors running around in the world where you can go and you can eke out a huge power base and be effective because you don't want to always be flashy. And Justin is one of those types.
That's what he did. That's what he did.
Because nobody would look to be tennis. You would probably figure to be the NBA or something like that. But no, tennis has a lot of crazy shit laying around. It's almost like I'm gonna be dating myself a Superman 2 when I think Richard Pryor Superman 3, one of those the franchise. When you figure out, he said, Lex said, there's a bunch of pennies floating around in the world. Nobody's missing their pennies.
No,
but how about if I collect all those pennies?
It's the thing. Justin has been accumulating power for years, doing a job that nobody else wanted to do, and actually nobody does. Because
I'm not even sure what his job is. Let me be clear on that.
I mean, he's player representative.
That's the powerful part of it.
That's it. You don't know it. You don't know. His job is to show up at the tournament. But you know who talks about it? Remember, Stakowski says it. He says one of the reasons why the players are always at a detriment is that the players don't have the time to learn everything, and by the time they learn it, they're up for re-election.
That's right.
And then
someone
you have to get that and someone else gets it.
And also, you're not directly advocating to the board. You're giving your information to someone to go talk on the board. But then someone is making all the difference.
But then the thing is, you want someone who's been consistently there, and who has consistently been there? Justin. And anyway. So you know what I mean? It's just I just think we have to be really careful about we all know Justin's a villain. He always has been. He didn't just turn into a villain because he beat up some dude. He was always that person. But just because today he's a villain for you doesn't mean that you get to judge these players who have encountered and interacted with Justin in a very particular way.
I'll let that be the whole story. If you're going to talk about Justin, we got to talk about a whole Justin.
Talk about all of it. But you know what? You can't. You know why you can't? Because John Wertheim is employed by Tennis Channel, so he can't tell you that. And you know what I mean? And we don't know what's going on with the Christopher Clarys of the world and how their webs are. So it's like you can't talk about the web of connection.
They red light, they green light those puff pieces. Yeah. But let me just say, ladies, before we go any further, this is absolutely why we are the Roger Federer.
Stop it! No, we can't talk ourselves, but it's just
I can and I will. We are brilliant.
Janina, I love it. Janina and I went toe to toe there. That was great. But Janina, you're right. No. It's just she's right, but it frustrates me because it's like we make everything individual, and so we can never attack the power structures.
I've been on this shit. Look, at work they think I'm a socialist. They're like, oh my god, like you're such a radical. And then I always remember Andreen is like, Andreen is exactly. Andreen's just like these English majors. God damn. It's just like, and I keep telling my
she calls you out on that bullshit, doesn't she?
No, she's just like they're so radical. She's like, I don't understand what's wrong with these people. Like how? Because you know what? People don't do the required reading or the required critical analysis. They keep missing the real story here. And this is, but this is tennis. This is tennis. This is tennis all the time.
What? The thing is, we have to pay attention to some of the stories that give us the nuance. Like, remember that agent who molested that woman and was sitting in like a royal box at Wimbledon? I mean,
yes.
It's just like and he didn't suffer any punishment, right? He just sort of quietly slid away. And it's like we just don't pay attention to the web. And I want a wonderful, diligent reporter.
You want an independent tennis media, and girl, I want the numbers to the lotto.
I don't even care, but I want a ProPublica for sports. You know how ProPublica just everything.
Yes. NPR, ProPublica. That's what we want.
Yeah, I want someone to put Justin at the center, and then I want you to draw a line to all.
Somebody needs to carry Matheson this shit on a board.
Yes, I want
Homeland Watchers will understand.
I know. Stick him in the center.
Andre, we gotta cut off Janina's cable. Okay, we just gotta cut that shit off. You know, like we just get this. We are taping on a Saturday because of Game of Thrones. People, just put it out there.
No, we're not.
Can I tell you what happened? You know what's so funny about this? So I have a nice job, and the one thing I think about this job that's been really interesting has been how it's exposed me to the web of connections in a world that I hadn't been a part of. And, you know, people think that folks are going to 9 to 5. It's not 9 to 5. It's the dinner parties. It's the birthday party.
Oh, women have been saying this all the time, right?
It's the golf tournament.
Exactly.
Listen, I work in the medical field. I have to go to dinners.
Yeah.
The drug reps want to take you for happy hour.
Yes.
That's how this shit works.
And that's what Justin's doing. Justin's going to all the events. He knows all the people.
I don't like it. I don't ever want to go, and they're like, come on, you gotta go.
But you do it, right? Because if you want a power position, you do it.
You know, I called a drug rep for a question the other day, and they were in my office within 20 minutes.
There you go. And so instead of us like always just, you know, I mean, I get it. Our faves, you know, there's like all of the people are in camps, you know, so everybody's feeling a certain way because you know Novak's the leader of the council, and so if you ask,
he is so unhelpful in this process. Let's be 100.
But he's not unhelpful. You know why? Because he knows he used Justin to get rid of Chris Kermode so that they could move to Italy, which is whatever. This was something he wanted out of London. So the question is, you align yourself with whomever is going to get you where you want to go.
Oh, and by the way, did you read that thread? That thread said that he is being referred to as the chairman.
Who is
being?
Justin is.
See,
he's already given the title. It seems like that.
His
lawyer referred to him, but that might just.
But you know what's interesting about it? What's interesting about it? Listen, this is what's so funny, right? Because it's like people can have you cheering for a villain. The thing you don't understand, and we don't understand, because I don't like Justin, whatever, but you have no idea what Justin could have promised and made possible for the players, right?
Right.
So this is a massive challenge for these players, because this is somebody that they have been supporting for years, that has finally gotten to the place where they have wanted him to be. And now here comes boop, 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 boop. Here comes
he gets to be, because if he gets to be the place where they want him to be, right, which is foreseeably the ATP president seat, right? The ATP president seat is the swing vote, right? The tournaments and then the players rep, right? And they usually go lock and step. It is he's become de facto. What's the vice president called? Whatever that vice president is called, you know, they look just as creepy and disgusting and obnoxious. Yeah, that person.
Yeah,
he becomes that swing person, right?
Yep.
And if you know you have that person in your pocket all the time.
Yeah.
But players, let me tell you something. Justin gives me the vibe. I'm gonna put on my Miss Marple hat. He ain't gonna play the game like how y'all want to play that game. Justin is in it for his power and money base.
But it's gonna tit for tat.
But so far, he hasn't shown that side yet.
No, but it's a power move. He knows where his base of support comes from. If his base of support comes from the players, he's going to be there. It doesn't come from the tournament. So what you're seeing is this is somebody who has worked their way up to the place where the players finally are going to have somebody that they want in that position that
they're not going to let him fucking up with some little dweeb in their mind.
I mean, I'm just saying that's how it looks, right? And I asked someone, I won't say who it was, off the record, somebody said that not only is this potentially about player money, but it's also about equal prize money, because not everybody buys into equal prize money, just so you know that.
Clearly.
And that
he's gonna change the side and give them more money.
Listen, people don't remember these things. Novak Djokovic came out against equal prize money a year ago.
A long time ago.
The more issue Novak
He came
Djokovic
out
said
very clearly against
very
it.
clearly.
These
Very
children are
clearly.
fighting the wrong fight, motherfuckers. Y'all only getting 12.5%. Y'all
Who
Lassie should be
cares?
out here
They
fighting
don't
for
care.
51%.
They don't care. We already know that. We already know that people don't pay attention to the whole pie. They pay attention to the other part of the pie that somebody else has. I'm just saying what I think.
You're here trying to steal a crumb from the girls. You should be trying to get the whole fucking pie. You
But
all are
did he-
making 12%.
Okay.
12%.
I know.
NBA players get 51%.
I know it's a mess, but you see. So anyway, I just think what's interesting is that they have worked. First of all, they should be pissed at Justin because he fucked them over.
Yep.
Because you have worked so hard and diligently to get this person in the right power play, and in the final moment, you're about to get screwed. And do you see who wants to run? The person who wants to run against Justin is Danny, who used to coach Andy Murray.
Really?
Oh, Danny.
Well, he's cute.
He's cute, but think about his base of support.
He's a bit shady, isn't he?
But not just shady. I don't know if he's shady, but think about
man, that sort of thing. They want. I mean, like in certain jobs, you kind of need somebody who looks like they have a little bit of like.
But think about his leverage. Think about where his power base is. His connection to Andy Murray is going to be important. His connection to Grigor, who's whatever, but his connection
which means to the British.
His connection also to the European side, which, by the way, Justin is very American. So it's just like people need to look beyond like, oh, this is a power move for the ATP Council, which is why they are letting you know that they have to sit down and talk about this, because they are about to lose somebody through public discuss that actually could be somebody that was powerful for the players. That's going to be a difficult road for those players, which is what Pospisil said in the beginning of the week was the most truthful thing. But y'all didn't want to hear that because you're like, Pospisil, you should be against him. But Pospisil told you the players think he's helpful to them. And so for people who've been lobbying about players for years who suddenly want to tell us, the players, what to do, good luck with that. And also, just to be honest, it's like Janina said, Justin's just one of many. That's how people negotiate and get power in unjust systems, which they all are. So Justin's just like par for the course, really.
Yeah.
Janina, I want you to know that somebody said, like, I don't like the fact that you have kids and you got family obligation, all that shit. They're like, your priorities is the podcast.
Did somebody say that? They did not. But let's okay. So that went in. But can we? I know that went in. Can we have like a final thing about the Janko Tipsarevic interview, which I thought was
actually I wanted to do that justice, and I don't know if we should probably do that for the next podcast.
I think we should save it because it had a lot, and I want to talk about it. I think that what we should do is encourage people to go listen to it, and then we can have a discussion with everyone about it. Yes, you will never again pay attention. Write down the date because we don't tell you to go listen to other podcasts. However, David Law on the Tennis Podcast had a really amazing, insightful interview with Janko Tipsarevic.
Well, actually, what is rare actually is the fact that someone took the time to actually sat down with a tennis player and speak to them for more than 10 minutes.
It was really, it was long. It was good.
Which is, I think, the only other place that has ever happened was with us. I mean, I'm not even trying to be crazy, but I mean, that had I'm sure somebody else did, but had a full tennis and this interview, and it's not about puff piece like, oh my god, what's your favorite ice cream, like what do you do on days off, like like
I mean, I like those too, by the way. I do like to know that about a player.
I like it with my faves though. I haven't seen it yet, and you know what, I would like it even more if I'm doing the questioning.
Exactly.
So. Well, the thing is though about Janko,
it's problematic.
He is problematic, but he will talk.
Yeah.
He is in a position where he knows a lot of things. He's been around a long time, but he's not in a position that where if he's going to say some things, it's going to get him in trouble. He says things that you're never going to get from a Rafa, a Roger, a Novak. Yeah. They're not even going to touch it.
That was useful.
So that's another good thing. I mean, just go listen.
So
that is a required reading for next podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because I think he he hits on some really good points, and I think as we look at the fact that the ATP Tour is really going through a transition, I think this I'm going to call him Justin Timberlake, but they're both the same. Justin Timberlake, Justin Gimelstob. I do think that problematic dudes, but I do think this I know. Remember
Oh, shit.
But I mean, I do think that we have to really pay attention to this moment because I think it's a big deal for the sport. For them,
it could be a shifting point. If people are smart and they play it right, this could be a huge, huge movement in tennis.
If people pay attention, but people won't.
Well, I'm going to sit back and watch. I'm not going to call it one way or the other.
What do you think, though, Janina? Like, what do you think they should do at this moment?
All it's going to take is for one person who we perceive as powerful, even though, as we just discussed, there are a lot of powerful people that we don't know shit about. But, when we think of powerful tennis people, we think of powerful player names. And it is no secret that, when Roger speaks, people listen. It is what it is. It's going to take for one of them players to question the structure. And then people will start looking into it because they're going to feel like it's their duty.
I think that what happened
that will be a starting point.
I think it has to come from without, because tennis attempted, and I put in quotation mark, to try to have this discussion recently, but they're having the discussion based on one player with this conflict of interest, right? Because this
is bigger than that.
But this is quintessential what conflict of interest is.
Yeah, I get that.
This is the shady bit, but I mean, like. And tennis was ready and willing to write about the conflict of interest regarding perceived around Roger Federer.
But right? So
the double standard, etc., like how favoritism and whatever, and perceived. And we were all talking. Well, they were trying to talk about Roofgate and all this mess, right? Things that they think that are really, which could clearly be objectionable. But that's just lazy work, and it goes back.
This is bigger. I think it's bigger.
It has to be ProPublica. It has to be somebody from the outside.
I think it is bigger, but
I think it's bigger. I think if people continue to ask these players in the press room what they think about Justin, that's important. You can't say Rafa didn't answer, so I'm not going to answer the question anymore. You know what? Keep asking Rafa. Ask Roger. Ask Novak. Ask Serena. Ask every single person every time. And the sad part is we know that tennis doesn't work that way. It only works that way when they're asking stupid questions. But you have to keep the conversation going.
That's see, and in my mind, I disagree entirely. I don't care. What I think is important, I don't care about what each individual player thinks, because
I don't think we need to care about what they think either. But if you keep the conversation going, you got to play the long game. So if you keep asking, keep asking
Justin, but then you end up with a player rep who's actually tournament.
No. If you keep asking the question and nobody refuses to answer, then probably somebody from the outside, your ProPublica or whoever, is going to pick up on it and actually do the work.
Well, I mean, I think what's interesting at this point in time for like, I think Novak coming on board as president, I think Novak figured out that he had to use what was there. And I think he aligned himself, I believe. People don't want to agree or disagree, whatever, but I do think he aligned himself with Justin because I think it was going to get him the end result they wanted, which is the removal of Chris Kermode, right? Which for them was an important move for them to save themselves from having somebody who they thought was too tournament friendly. That might be very true. But I think what's interesting is how far they thought that Justin could take them and whether they're going to evaluate that he's gotten them as good as they could get. But right now, the public attention on Justin is too strong and they might have to just tell him to go away for a bit. Right. I think the question is, because at this point in time, they just need Justin to recuse himself. The funny thing is that's the thing. It's like, the reason why the reporters are asking individual players is because they need the players to ratchet up enough negative attention so that Justin feels uncomfortable enough to leave, because they know that behind the scenes, the players want to vote for Justin. And I mean, that's unfortunate. Like, that's what's going on. And so I just think I think it's fascinating to see how far they're going to let Justin go with them, because I think he's taken them far in their minds. And I don't know if you can convince John Isner to go against Justin. I don't think.
Oh,
And I don't think you can convince Sam Querrey to go against Justin. Why would they? I mean, they see the long game. The fans are upset about this moment, but the players have invested in this for longer.
And well, if journalism actually did their damn job. But I'm serious, because you know what? The only time I ever hear a repeated question asked to several players in different, settings is when it's a silly question.
Yeah.
Do it when it's serious. I mean, Ben put out a piece on Applebee's in Cincinnati, and he asked every single person that he was impressed with if they went there. And they're like, why does he keep doing this? Well, he did it for a story. Do that every single time. Don't because that's how it's supposed to, that's how it works in other places. They ask every single player.
You know what? You're right. They should have been covering the power moves of this for a while. And I just think it's funny that, Justin, you stupid, dude. I know you feel it because you just messed up.
Because they didn't say anything because they really believed his lies. They accepted his lies because this was so pathological.
Well, again, they're too close to the players.
Well, no, they're close to him.
His lies or not. It's useful for them to accept it because he is an ally. It's useful for them to accept it.
Because they didn't even do an investigate. They didn't even go into the courtroom to even ask any kind of question about whatever the case. He just said, they just said, we're gonna respect him. And
listen, it's time for these are the people who are going to play in Saudi Arabia. You gotta stop thinking people are making moral decisions.
God. Yeah, these for sure.
No, I'm talking about the journalists.
Moral decisions. But I'm just saying
the journalists wouldn't even ask about that. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying. The journalists didn't even do debate.
They're motherfuckers and they won't ask.
Listen,
they're going to ask about a fight?
You know what? It's true. We've seen. I think it's important. Listen, it's a tricky world. You know what I mean? The question is, do you get rid of somebody that you think has gotten you to a good place and you feel like is a power player? Public opinion be damned. Guess what? We've done that. We chose a president. Public opinion be damned. So I think
people. Look what you're getting.
Listen, but you know what? But I think you don't understand. People are happy with what they're getting. I think we put people in too many boxes of good and bad. People are a mixture, and so people are negotiating with dodgy people to get the things they want and need.
They want the psychological advantage over the financial one, because I'm telling you,
who's to say? How are you to know? The players have been lobbying for more powerful positions for a very long time. They're finally on the cusp of getting it in their minds.
Yeah, just form your fucking union already.
I know.
All right, wrap it up.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, remember, Djokovic wanted that, and y'all made fun. So
who's y'all? I didn't say that. I'm all for unions. Anyway, so y'all got a nice juicy podcast. Hey, we're sorry for being away for so long, but sometimes we need to breathe in it. I went to I want to talk about the Easter brunch because I'm on the brunch promised to listen to the podcast. And
listen, we got to show up like Naomi Osaka. We can't always show up like her, okay? We got to show up enthusiastic.
You know what? And we're doing like Novak. We're saving all our love for the French. That's what we're doing.
No, you want it to be long and steady, but we can't. We're just gonna peak. We have to peak at certain tournaments. That's how that's how the podcast works.
Anyway, folks, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this thorough commentating about the Justin and all of the issues. Also know that in the near future, Google Hangouts might be kicking us off, so we might not be uploading directly to YouTube. If you know of any suggestions, you tech-savvy people out there of podcasting platforms that we can use where we can enjoy our live experience, because most of the ones that I've seen so far and doesn't really allow us to have live experience with fans. Yes, I know.
Well, we can always convince you to put your face on YouTube, and we can always go live on YouTube alone. I mean, it's an option, but you're going to have to get over being.
Why is your child taking over the mic? Why is your child taking over the mic? Like, oh my God.
Anyway. It was fun. It was a fun battle of opinions today.
Oh, this is wonderful. I hope you all listen. And comment below and spread the word, and we are the Roger Federer of tennis podcasts. We really are that good.
It just means that we peak only in key moments, though. So that's sad.
And we hitting because usually last year, usually Clay, we're like, oh my God, they're back in the dirt. But you know what? Roger's coming back, so we're all excited and perky. And
we're ready to get dirty.
We're from tennis. Tennis always does some shitty shit.
Well, listen, we're going to Madrid next. We're going to Madrid next. Yeah. And the thing to know about Madrid is I believe that is the final tournament for David Ferrer.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the fact that they still got those girls.
We'll have to come up with our best calf man moments.
Yeah, we have to. We have to come up with something to honor Ferrer.
We shall do a tribute.
We should do a tribute the best way we can.
Bite the towel.
So and we don't know.
Can I talk about the 0-13 or 14-15 record against Roger Federer?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Say goodnight, because you know what? You know he's gonna draw Federer and finally get his first win because Federer
so zip it.
But nonetheless,
why are you trying to jinx shit?
And anybody who's got the real tea, could anybody tell us if Venus and Serena's coming back in Madrid too? They never do.
Yeah. If there's anything on the Justin Gimelstob that we have overlooked, his stands, please don't run up.
He has stands. Oh
yes,
shit.
Lucia and some other crazy. Look, don't. I got all the time in the world for y'all.
Listen,
don't even try me today.
His stands are looking at the other side. They don't mind the incident. They want something else.
It is true. Anyway. And I know most of the stands don't listen to people of color. So
oh my God, I gotta go.
Goodbye.
You're telling me I'm wrong.
Ciao.
Anyway, fans, it's a delicious podcast. I think it's too juicy else for you, Maya, for you, Dima, for you, Deb. It's all hair. And you see, we don't just talk about Federer. We just like Federer.
Good night.
Good night, folks. Gina, go and be a mom, okay?
Oh, my God.
And Andre, go back and get some sleep. Goodbye, ladies.